Good evening. My name is Jeremy. Yeah, when they told me I was doing this, they said it was like 7 people. I don't think that was an accurate figure, but the show must go on. All right. I'm not a member of the Board of Guiding Light. I'm not a sponsor. I'm not regular at dinners like these, although that does sound like a good time once a year. I am a former client of the recovery program at Guiding Light, which is to say I am a dead man walking turned survivor. I'm here this evening because I was invited to tell my story. It's a pretty good one if you include where I am right now. But it includes a fair share of emotion as well, if you consider where I used to be and how I almost ended up. So I'll just start shortly after entering high school. I started using drugs. And for the better part of the next 2 decades, I believe that's 20 years, I never stopped. My life was chaotic and aimless. I lived for little much than my next high. After both of my parents died in 2012, when I was 30 years old, I inherited a small fortune of $300,000. That's 3 with 5 zeros. It's a significant amount of money. In Varnum, I think you guys are here now. I might owe you some money. I'm sorry. You handled my father's estate, and I don't think I ever paid that bill. So, yeah, you'll know where to find me now. So that first check was delivered to me through Varnum, and it was a check made out for $92,000. It was gone in 8 months. I squandered it on drugs, vehicles, hotel rooms. I hosted parties where guests would carry thousands of dollars in their pockets, me included. Yeah, they would sell everything from weed to heroin and everything in between. My spending, it just accelerated. In 2 years, I had blown through the entire sum of my father's estate. I wish I could tell you much more than that about that period of my time, but it's a little foggy. I don't remember a whole lot of it, all right? I went to a lot of funerals. A lot of friends of mine died from overdoses, suicides, tragic accidents pertaining to drug or alcohol abuse. Sometimes pinch myself. It's hard for me to believe that my name is not on one of those tombstones, and I feel very fortunate that it's not. I went to a slew of other programs all across the state of Michigan. Nothing really took. I found myself in a local detox facility, and I'd never heard of Guiding Light. And somebody told me it was free, so I was like, okay, sign me up, you know? And I didn't know what I was getting into. But I'm so glad I made the decision to further my recovery. I arrived one night on Guiding Light's doorstep, and all I had to my name was a duffel bag. Just clothes, stuff like that. And a little bit of hope. I had gone from a young man with $300,000 in his pocket to one of the most desperate people you could ever imagine. Something happened at Guiding Light I can't really even explain. There's 2 words that come to mind: grace and miracle. I got a dose of both of those things. And a big part of the reason why I'm standing here tonight is because Guiding Light's executive director, Mr. Ray. I know he's wincing to hear his name, and I see him right there. Hello. That's his nature. Oh, I won't mention that. That's in his nature. During his speech, you could tell he couldn't wait to get back to his seat. It's not because he's shy. It's because he thinks our stories are better than his. Well, he's wrong. And what's more is that our stories are his. Mr. Ray is an example I want to follow, and I never got any of that at any other places that I crossed this threshold with my duffel bag. I'm not trying to put a halo over this man's head, all right? I just want you to know that because of his leadership and faith, you are choosing to put your gifts towards a better place. I'm still dealing with the wreckage of my past. It will never go away. but with Guiding Light's help, it will always be a closed chapter. My present tense is defined by full-time work, a place to call my own, and a future that looks a lot brighter than it had for the last 20 years. In addition to Mr. Ray, I also have you, the men and women in front of me, to thank for saving my life. You guys invested in me without even knowing who I was, and I am so grateful for that. Though I don't know your names, I know that I happen to be the object of your hearts, and for that I can never repay you. Thank you, and God bless you.